So just over 20 years ago, Nelson Mandela invited Gerry Adams, the leader of Sinn Féin, which was the political arm of the terrorist group, the IRA, to South Africa to discuss the journey towards peace in Northern Ireland. And one of the things that Nelson Mandela emphasized was that you make peace with your enemies and not with your friends. 25 years later, and Northern Ireland has enjoyed a period of relative peace and prosperity as a result of the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. And the people of Northern Ireland have benefited from that period of peace, which is why this week's Communicator of the Week is the singer Feargal Sharkey. So for those of you who are not quite as old as me, Feargal Sharkey was a singer from the 80s, had a couple of hits, one of them called A Good Heart, pretty good track. He's also a campaigner, but more importantly for our purposes, he also grew up in Northern Ireland. And so he had first-hand experience of the conflict, the trials, the difficulties, the challenges of living under conflict and war and insecurity, and also has been there firsthand to witness the impact of the peace accord and the peace agreement and the benefit it has brought to the people of Northern Ireland. So when he was asked for his thoughts on the Israeli Gaza conflict and crisis, this is what he said.
This is the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement. For 25 years, the people of Northern Ireland have been able to prosper and grow and blossom and have discovered that this thing, peace, is a very delicate, beautiful little flower that needs nurturing, caressing and supporting. I do wish that the people of Gaza and Palestine and Israel get to discover what 25 years of peace, prosperity, and diplomacy and democracy looks like, and that those people can blossom into a much more confident, much brighter future for everyone involved. This is good for Northern Ireland. Well spoken. Thank you.
I love this piece of communication from Feargal Sharkey for a couple of reasons. The first is that he talks about hope rather than darkness, and that is always going to be far more inspiring, far more enlightening for people than only telling us about the difficulties, the challenges, the dangers, the obstacles, which a lot of people are doing at the moment. The second is he showed empathy, not by talking about one side or the other, which is obviously going to get divisive, but by showing to them and reaching out in the way that Nelson Mandela had done, reaching out to those struggling with Northern Ireland Peace Accord at that time, reaching out by showing, look, we have been through what you are going through and we have come out on the other side. So we know it is possible. And we know that on the other side of that kind of danger lives prosperity, lives peace, lives the blossoming of the people, the innocent people who deserves it. So I really thought it was a good message, not by pontificating or talking down to people, but just by saying, we know where you're coming from right now, and I promise you, you can come through it if you approach it in the way of peace. And the third reason I loved it really was because it was short. I cannot tell you how many speeches, presentations, pieces of communication generally just go on and on for far too long and lose the audience just because of the amount of time it takes for them to communicate it. Keep your communication concise. Its impact is basically inversely proportional to its length. So the longer you speak, the less impact you will have. So keep it short and sweet, which is what I'm going to do with this video. That is why Feargal Sharkey is my Communicator of the Week. As always, if you need any help with your communication skills, just reach out. Great place to start is with my free masterclass on the communication super skills that will literally change your career if you use them. Check it out. I'll see you next week.